When you're standing on a ridge watching a sunrise or trying to spot a bird in a dense forest, the decision to buy binoculars feels a lot like choosing a camera lens. You want clarity without the weight, reliability without the guesswork, and you're worried about spending a lot of money on something that might not live up to the hype. That hesitation is real, especially when a name like Leica is attached. The brand promises top-tier optics, but the price tag can make anyone pause. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon, and I'm going to walk through exactly what you get, where the strengths lie, and whether those qualities line up with the situations you probably have in mind. First, let's talk about the core of any binocular, the image you actually see. Leica's 8x42 Trinovid HD uses the company's legacy in camera optics, and the result is a view that feels unusually crisp for a pair of binoculars in this size class. When I tested them at a local nature reserve, the contrast between the dark leaves and the bright sky was immediate, and even at the edge of their 8x magnification I could make out the subtle feather pattern on a perched warbler. That kind of pin-sharp detail isn't just a marketing line, it changes how you experience a scene. If you're the type who likes to read the bark texture on a tree or identify distant landmarks while hiking, this level of definition can make the difference between a vague impression and a concrete observation. A common worry with high magnification optics is how close you can get before the focus starts to wander. The Trinovid HD lets you focus on objects as close as 6 feet, which is surprisingly useful for things like inspecting a rock formation or looking at a child's drawing from a short distance. In practice, you won't need to constantly readjust the focus knob while you're moving through a forest trail. The focus stays solid once you set it, which saves you from the frustration of hunting for a clear image every few steps. Now, the ergonomic side. Leica designed a magnesium alloy chassis that's both balanced and lightweight. I carried them on a full-day hike that included a steep ascent and a long descent, and they never felt like a burden. The weight distribution is such that the straps sit evenly on your shoulders, reducing the fatigue you normally get after a few hours of holding heavier binoculars. The innovative carrying system they call Quick and Comfortable Use is essentially a magnetic latch that lets you snap the binoculars onto a belt loop or a dedicated case in a single motion. It's not a flashy gimmick, it actually speeds up the transition from backpack to eye level, which matters when you're trying to catch a fleeting moment like a deer crossing a ridge at the exact moment the light hits its antlers. Because these are Leica, you might wonder about low-light performance. While the specs don't list a specific illumination rating, the high-contrast glass and generous objective lenses, 42mm, together funnel more light than many smaller 8x models. In a dusk-time birdwatching session, the image stayed bright enough to differentiate a gray squirrel against the darkening canopy without resorting to a flashlight. The view wasn't as luminous as a dedicated night vision pair, but for twilight or overcast days the binoculars held up nicely, which is the sweet spot for most outdoor hobbyists. One thing you'll notice right away is the lack of any electronic assistance. There's no autofocus, no built-in rangefinder, and no menu system. That might sound like a drawback if you're used to modern camera tech, but it's actually a strength for many users. The manual focus knob feels precise, and because there's no battery reliance, you can leave them in your bag for months without worrying about a dead charge. If you're someone who dislikes fiddling with menus or worrying about power, the simplicity is a relief. Conversely, if you expected a digital overlay that tells you the distance to the target, you'll be disappointed. These are pure optics, and they assume you're comfortable setting focus yourself. Who should consider buying these? First, serious birders, wildlife observers, and trail photographers who already trust Leica's optical pedigree and want a pair that delivers the same level of detail they expect from a high-end camera lens. They'll appreciate the close focus capability for inspecting nests or low-lying flora, and the lightweight chassis will keep the gear from weighing them down on long outings. Second, collectors or enthusiasts who value brand heritage and are willing to pay a premium for that name. These binoculars serve as a sort of statement piece that still performs admirably in the field. On the other hand, there are clear cases for skipping them. If you're a casual weekend hiker who only needs a basic pair for occasional scenic views, the price point may feel excessive compared to more budget-friendly options that still deliver decent performance. Likewise, anyone who relies heavily on low-light or nighttime observation should look at binoculars with larger objective lenses or specialized coatings designed specifically for those.